Kabbalistic news. News without a spiritual component is endemically false. Hello. This is Kabbalistic News. My name is Timeless. In the news today is the 75th anniversary of the invasion of France by the Allied forces to push back the Germans and eventually end World War II. And this time has a particular significance to me because a year and 2 months later, precisely, America dropped the atomic bomb on Japan, 2 of them actually, to end that war. And I was born right in between. I don't know if I'm a war baby or an atomic baby. But war has been a big part of my life. When I was 17, I went into the Navy, and in 1964, we were in the Gulf of Tonkin, the flagship of the amphibious force, directed to go to the demarcation line between North and South Vietnam, which was starting to heat up, and to make a division between these 2 countries to proffer peace in the area. Unfortunately, 24 hours before the invasion, we were told by the Pentagon, in those days, they didn't have satellites, they had to bounce it off the moon, that we should forget the invasion and take everyone to Saigon, and we're going to fight a conventional war. And no one ever had won a conventional war against Vietnam. Not the Chinese, not the Russians, not the French, nobody. And because America didn't really want to win the war, they just wanted to fight the war. And a part of the reason is because this was a way to disenfranchise the black community in America. Because they made it that only people who went to college or were married would have exemptions. And that was kind of a white thing to do. And in that way, they really destroyed the black communities, which were beginning to stand up under the leadership of Martin Luther King. And see, and this is really a result of D-Day, of America ramping up its forces. In a couple of years, America was an isolationist country, and in a few years, we were able to produce like thousands of tanks and planes, and because of us, because only England stood between Germany and the conquering of Europe, and we came to their defense, to England and to France, and sacrificed on one day, I think like 40,000 soldiers on one day, and eventually defeated them. But as a result, America had been retrofitted into being a superpower in the world. And became extremely rich from this, but much of this money is truly blood money. Later, we became involved in the Middle East, and when Russia fell, suddenly Clinton said, "Well, we have to arm both sides. Have to be fair about this." Any chance that there is to be able to fight war, to make discord, America wants to do it because that's what we become wealthy from. Also, I lived in Israel during the 80s and was involved in the Lebanese war. I was just there, so I wasn't a soldier, but they needed a printer. So I volunteered. It says he who volunteers didn't understand the question. But I volunteered, and I printed a very holy book in 15 different places throughout Lebanon. And I've experienced 2 wars in my lifetime, and I must say, war just sucks. And but one thing that we can see about war and how we get into these wars and what we did, that just as we retrofitted our country to make war, we could just as easily retrofit our country to make peace. And America is the provocateur of war and discord in this world. We stick our nose everywhere, take sides, divide and conquer. That's what we do. And now, as a result, countries are getting hip to what America is really about. And they're making different alliances. China with Russia. Just everyone that, Venezuela with Russia, Cuba. I mean, again, it's this divide and conquer. We could have had really good relationships with China and with Russia if we would accept that people in different places of the globe have different ideas about how to govern their countries. And a country like China that takes care of 1.5 billion people, I think deserves a lot of respect for that. And though China is strong, China has said that they're not interested in taking over America's role. And the truth is, America should put down that role. We are not the cops of the world. And we should put down, it says, in the end, and this is the end of days, when the calendars run out, soon the Hebrew calendar will end after the Mayan and the Roman, and now the Hebrew calendar will end. These are the end of days, and we enter into 1,000 years of peace and of woman and of peace. And to prepare for that, we need to start pushing the world towards peace. And that begins with America, because America is a small world. We're made up of people from all over the globe. And if we change, the entire world changes. And after 40 years from Ronald Reagan, he got elected in 1980, began this coalition between government and religion, right-wing, well, they're all right-wing, but government and religion, and has brought us to this point. And everything is being revealed, and we're all seeing what is happening. Now it's time for us to make a statement. And there's many different ways to do it, but we should really think about, revolution, direct democracy, of taking the fact that America is a commercial enterprise, a country built on consumerism, that the consumer has the power to stop this country in its tracks. And we have the technology to do it. And we should know that we are empowered, and we don't have to let them do things that go against the will of the country and the will of the world. We are the people. This has been Kabbalistic News. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, it's good for the channel. If you could click that you liked it. And subscribe. All those things would be a big help. Part of the revolution.